Hi Year 3, so it's Thursday morning. We are today going to be bringing all of the things that we have looked at together so far in maths this week. We have looked, if we think back over the work that you've done this week, on Monday, we looked at column addition. On Tuesday, we looked at column subtraction. And then yesterday, you had a look at estimating and sort of thinking about how that is an important step in working out our final answers to calculations, just to make sure that the answer that we get is a sensible one. So all those three different steps today, we are going to be working on together and putting them to try and give us a really good, strong approach to answering some word problem questions. So our starter today actually also helps us to get focused for what we're going to be doing in our lesson today, because one of the tasks that you are going to be asked to do today is to work out whether the word problem that you're looking at is getting you to add or getting you to take away. And to be able to do that, we need to start considering the language that we use for adding and for taking away. So as a starter today, we are going to be looking at some of that vocabulary and starting to get in the zone for working out whether our question is add or take away. So we're going to share the screen with you now, and this is something that you could then go on and have a little look at doing on your own, because there is a link today on the overview just for you to have a little practice. Okay, now the numbers that are used on here are quite straightforward, simple numbers. The numbers aren't too challenging. That's not really the point of this task today for our starter. The real task is to get us to think about whether it is an adding or a taking away sum. So it's looking at the vocabulary. That's what our real focus is. So you can see we've got two post boxes here, and one has got an addition sign on it and one has got a subtraction sign on it, okay? And we've got to read the address that's on the envelope down here and work out whether we're going to post it into the addition one or whether we're going to post it into the subtraction one. So that's what we've got to try and work out. So let's have a look at this first one together. And you can see the numbers involved are not big numbers. It's more looking at what the question type is. So Ellie has played 13 games. Pat has played 3 fewer. How many games has Pat played? So we've got to think, well, because the words that are in that question, is that getting us to think that we need to be doing an adding sum or a taking away sum? So which word in there do you think gives us a bit of a clue as to whether it's an adding or a taking away? Yes, hopefully you picked up on this word fewer. Fewer is another word for less than. So we need to be then taking away. So Ellie's played 13 games, Pat's played 3 fewer, that's 3 less than. So how many games has Pat played? So our sum would be 13 take away 3. I'm sure most of you are able to tell me what the answer is. But we need to be posting that envelope there into our subtraction post box there. If I can just get, there we go. And hopefully you heard that round of applause there as well. Okay, so let's go on to our next one. Lucy has 12 pence. She gives Helen 7 pence. So she's giving some away. Okay, so she's got 12, but she's giving 7 pence away. How much money is left? So how much does Lucy have left? So some of it is being given away. So does that mean we're adding or we're taking away? Which one do we need to post that one into? Yes, you're right, it's the taking away one, isn't it? Okay, because she is giving away some of that money. She's going to have less in her hand. Okay, we almost have to picture the scene in our head and see, now, is she going to end up with more or is she going to end up with less? If she ends up with more, we'll be adding. But if she's ending up with less, then we're taking away. So she is going to be posting that, or we're going to be posting that into the... Okay, we had another round of applause there, if you can hear. Oh, it's a bit similar, this one, isn't it? There are 19 bean bags. Ben takes away 2 bean bags. So how many bean bags are left? So very similar to the last question that we had, wasn't it? So hopefully we've realised we're going to be posting that one into takeaway one there as well. I'm sure we're going to get an adding one soon. Never know with these games, do you? Okay. Ellie pops 7 bubbles. Leslie pops 7 bubbles. And Anne manages to pop 11 bubbles. Gosh, this is a little bit more numbers on this one. How many do they pop all together? So Ellie pops 7, Leslie pops 7, Anne pops 11. How many altogether? What are we going to be doing with all those numbers? Are we going to be adding them or are we going to be taking them away? Which word tells us, do you think? And picture the scene in your head, what's going on. Yeah, hopefully you spotted that word altogether. That means that we are adding. So 7 and 7, let's work it out. 7 and 7, if we double that, is going to be 14. I hope you've got. And then if I add 14 and 11, so 14 and my 10 would be 24, and with that 1 would be 25. So 25 bubbles popped all together, but we definitely added to work that out. So at last we get to post one in the addition box. Okay, so that is the idea of the game, and it's just getting you to start thinking, like I said at the start, about whether the question is an adding or whether it's a taking away. So if you want to, you could pause the video now. You could go and have a little play of that game on your own. So the link is on the overview for this week, so you can follow the link there and have a go and just have practice on your own. Just see if you can put it into the right post box, okay, to work that out. Once you have done that, you should be hopefully ready for today's activity. Okay, so today's activity is going to be step by step using all the different things that we have looked at over this week. So I'm going to share another screen with you now. So this is a smartboard screen that we are going to use, and I'm just going to model what I would like for you to do today. So we're going to work together on this one here and talk it through, again, step by step. So my phrase for today, step by step. And I want you, in the same way, when you get your word problem questions, to do a similar thing, okay? So how I set it out now is how hopefully you're going to be setting it out for me as well. So we've got a date, we've got our WOT, and our WOT today is to estimate and solve word problems. So here's our word problem. In the woodland area, there are 182 squirrels and 59 otters. Fancy that, squirrels and otters in the woodland. How many squirrels and otters are there all together? Okay, so that's our question there. So it's saying there's 182 squirrels, there are 59 otters. How many squirrels and otters are there all together? So the first thing need to think about is this an adding or is this a taking away sum? Well, hopefully there's a word in there, and thinking about what the question is asking you, that helps us to work out what we need to be doing. So hopefully you've managed to work out this is going to be an adding sum, because this word here all together suggests that we need to be adding. And if we again think about the question, we've got 182 squirrels, 59 otters, we've got to know how many there are altogether. So we're adding. So first job, tick. I know that this is an adding sum that I am going to be doing. Now underneath here, you can see that I have set out already a bit that says an estimate and a bit here that says a calculation. So before I go on to my calculation, before I actually do the adding sum, I'm going to estimate first of all what I think this answer is going to be close to. Okay, now that means if you think back to yesterday, I need to be doing some rounding. I need to be thinking about the numbers that I've got there, and if I round them to my nearest 10, what I would end up with. So 182 squirrels. If I rounded 182 to the nearest 10, what's the nearest 10 going to be to that there? Yeah, hopefully you've got that it's 180. I'm very carefully drawing. There we go, 180. So 180. And I've already said that this is going to be an adding sum. So there's 180. And now I've got to look at my number of otters. So I've got 59 otters there. So if I round that to the nearest 10, which 10 number is that closest to? It's in between 50 and 60. Which one's it closer to? Yeah, you're right. It's really close to 60, isn't it? So 180 add 60. So that is going to help me with my estimate. It's going to tell me that my final answer should approximately be whatever I think this is going to be here. So now I've got to think, okay, 180 plus 60. So I'm going to count on in tens from 180. So 190, 200, 210, 220, 230, 240. There's my 6 tens. So my estimate is telling me that the final answer should be about 240. So I have recorded down what I think my estimate is going to be. Okay, so now I see what my final calculation is. So now I need to actually set out my sum. So we've got, remember our numbers, 182. Now don't forget, if you want to as well, you can put your column headings down to show which is my columns, my hundreds, my tens and my ones. So to my 182, I'm going to be adding 59 otters. So my 59, I'm going to put, making sure my 5, because it's 5 tens, goes into my tens column there, and then my 9 ones obviously goes into my 9 there. Okay, so that's my actual calculation. That's my adding sum that I am going to do. Okay, so I'm now going to draw my equal signs here. Make sure I've got nice straight lines for those, easier to do. And then I now need to work out my answer. So remember, with our column addition, we always start with our ones column. That's where we start with to begin with. So we've got 2 add 9. Or remember, you can do the opposite way around and do 9 add 2, which is quicker. So 9 add 2, 10, 11. So my 1 goes there, and my 10, because remember this is 11, so I've got my 1, and my 10 is going to go over into my ones column there. So in my tens column, I have got my 8 and my 5. So my 8 and my 5, if I add those together, be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then, of course, with my 1 down here, I'm going to just cross it out to make sure I've done it, is going to give me 14. So that's 14 tens that I've got. So my 4 tens is going to go into here. And then my 10 tens are now going to become 100 coming over here. So look, there's my 14. Remember, we looked like diagonally. You can see the number that you've written there. Okay, so there is my 4, and there's my 1 to give me my 14. So now in my hundreds column, I got the 100 that I had here already, but now I've got this 100 here as well. So again, I'm going to cross off my 100 there. So that's now going to give me 141 as my final answer. Now, if we look back at our estimate was about 240. We can't get much closer than that, can we? So we should now feel fairly confident that we've got the right answer because we've worked it through step by step. We've checked it against our estimate just to make sure it's about what we were expecting. So that is a good mark of where we've got to and whether we think we've got the right answer or not. Okay, so I first of all decided if it was going to be an adding or a taking away. That's our first thing. Then I estimated. Then we actually did our calculation. Now, the final step, if we are going to be very thorough with this, is now to give our final answer. So our final answer, because this is a word problem, means that if we're being very slick in how we do this, that we're going to give a word answer just to show we've really understood what the question was asking us in the first place. So all we need here is a simple word answer. So there are 241 squirrels and otters in the woodland. And that's our word answer. So we've given our final answer just to say we know what you were asking us in the first place. Okay, so that is the layout of how I would like for you today to complete your activities. Let me just come out of this for a moment. So in today's folder, you have got some questions. There's a set of questions for hexagons, for squares, and for circles. So look at your sheet. There are some questions on there. First job, is it adding or taking away? Second job, estimate what you think the answer is going to be about. Third job, do the actual calculation, work it out. Fourth job, give me a word answer. Following that step by step, then you should get a very organised approach to your work today. Okay, so good luck with today's task. Tomorrow, there's going to be your times table focus lesson. So it's a little bit different from what we've been doing for the rest of the week, but well done for working through this all this week, and well done for working so well throughout the half term as well, because we've done a lot of work this half term and you have done ever so well with it. So make sure that you have a good lesson tomorrow on your times table practice, and then you have a really good half term. Make sure you have a good rest, enjoy spending the time with your family, and we shall see you back after half term and catch up with you all then. And no doubt you'll have lots of news to share with us. So take care, have a good day, and have a good half term when it comes. Goodbye.